Ende erfindet. Every input has unique buttons and instructions speak on it, and when the whole mountain is blown away by this, then the first second of eternity will be over.
I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a hero. I'm just a guy who had an experience which I don't even know what it was, to tell you the truth, but I will remember it for the rest of my days as long as I am of sound body and mind. I come from a little place called Elton, Ohio. And one time I was fixing some breakfast. After consuming breakfast, I was looking at the wall and it was just getting dark out when I saw this ball of light. Which was reflecting all these beams of light. I ran and hid in the room where my computer is. Whilst there, a spaceman appeared to me. At first I thought it was an escaped animal, but I could soon see that he was super intelligent. He was about a few feet tall and he had these huge green eyes. They were like humanoid eyes, but much larger. So when it would blink, it would actually take about 15 minutes for the eye to close. And then it would once again become an open eye. I know factually what I was seeing was real. I could feel him reading my mind, but I wasn't really thinking of anything, so I shouted at him profanely to ask what he wanted. He had short thumbs and 8 fingers. He spoke to me in my head like telepathy, I guess, even though I am a good listener. The next thing I knew, I was in a different room which had all these lights, which were in rows going around the corners of the room, and the walls, which were like this kind of hexagonal shape made of MDF, and there was this cold blue light in the room. I was laying down on what felt like a car, and when I woke up there was one of these beings sleeping on a cushion on the other side of the room. He was smaller and had a blanket over him, and as he lay there, he was turned away from me so I could just about see the top of his head, which was shiny like a hologram. When I closed my eyes, I sensed more couches in the room, and there was a warm glow and I could hear people talking. But when I opened my eyes, there was just the same cold blue light and this small being in the room. I would close my eyes and I could hear all these people talking again, saying things about magic beer and dancing in the forest. But when I would open my eyes, it would just be the same cold blue light and this baby alien. I drifted off for what felt like days. And when I woke up, the room was darker. I couldn't see if the small alien was still there. There was just this screen which was playing a video of all these things happening on Earth. Tractors driving around, animals growing, and nuclear bombs blowing up, making bomb holes. As I breathed, the roof would go higher and higher. And then as I breathed, the room would go lower and lower. The next day, I felt awful. And I woke to feel this plastic bag on my head. And all of this liquid was going into my mustache, which I still had at the time. It tasted like sour diet drinks. The taste will be forever burned on my memory. My mustache was twice as long as normal, so I don't know how long I'd been asleep. I counted about 10.5 lasers, which were rotating mostly around my hair, but mostly on my legs. Which felt like they were being gripped by a python. The lasers were going round and round like a Ferris wheel, and eventually looked into my eyes. I believe that these procedures were physical, mental, and reproductively oriented. They took some skin from my right arm, as I remember. Then they took some semen from me. I cannot remember this, but I won't go into much of the details, as this account would end up being about 900 pages long. Their technology is super advanced. Their technology compared to ours is like the year 2009 compared to the distant past. Then a human came in. He was dressed in a suit, which was shiny like an ashtray. And he had long hair. He had these symbols all over his bag, which looked like Aztec calligraphy, and his hair was quite long. With an intriguing need to know, I asked him, "Where am I? Who are you? What time is it?" My watch had stopped working, and also my iPod was also broken. I don't know how I know this, but I do. He looked at me for what seemed like decades, and I said, "What am I doing here?" And he said, "The planet faces very great danger. In 2009, the seas will dry up, and the animals will die. We must escape to underground where the Earth has its core." He showed me into a room which seemed like it was made of glass, and I saw a meteor with stars around it. I believe it was the headquarters of the spaceship. There was an egg-shaped steering wheel, which is about 1 inch deep and 5 millimeters in diameter. It was also made of glass, and it also had symbols on it. When I moved, the steering wheel left, the spaceship would move forward. And when I pulled the X toward me, we started spinning around. And the meteor was at one time above me, and then I couldn't see it anymore. I found it hard to control, and it was like a computer game that I was not enjoying. The days dragged on like years. I'd spend hours drinking the diet drinks and watching the nuclear bombs on the screen. I would feel awful in the mornings and would sometimes drink the diet drinks about half an hour after I woke up. Sometimes I would just sit and watch the meteor or make sculptures with a substance that was synonymous with clay. Other times, I would play the piano or exercise to take my mind off my concerns. When I got back to Earth, I met my girlfriend Lindsay in London. She is a Harvard girl, and she's studying a degree in international relations and crisis management. With Lindsay's support and the help of a noted scientist, I've been able to write down what happened to me so I can read it out or send it to you on an email. We just get on so well, Lindsay and I. We can just talk. It's not often that you find that. She's a cute little blonde thing. If you were to look at her, you would think she was a bimbo. But she's not. But she dumped me in the same week that I lost my job at the swimming pool, and I've not been able to seem like I can enjoy things, and it seems like I've not seen her for an eternity. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. Her dad was in the FBI and had served in Vietnam, which was cool because my dad used to fly jets for the Navy. Now I'm dating a divorcee, but I can't see any future in it because she is an older woman. Since my return to Earth, I have found it hard to adjust to our fast-paced way of life. And sometimes I pray that a spaceship will either crash on me or maybe take me to a different country where there is less internet. I have encountered a lot of unfriendliness And when I talk to people about what happened, they lose interest and they don't seem to see that I have a good heart. This would never happen with Lindsay, my rock. However, I did attend a conference with Lindsay before she went to Berlin. I saw a slide of a disc-shaped craft, and I asked the woman, "Are humans taken aboard one of these things?" And she said yes. And I just blurted out, "I've been taken aboard one of these things." And she was more accommodating. People who say my account is beyond retarded were not actually there, so I do not value their opinion even when I am in a good mood. To those people, I say many people have had the same experience as me, especially in Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Iceland. And this story is real because it has no plot line. The experiences are real, burgeoning, and they are not going away. And also, other people also say that what happened to me did not happen. But some people didn't believe that World War II happened, and that didn't happen. And they also watched it on the documentaries. World War I for sure happened, but World War II did not happen. I'm conducting my research now into what happened to me in order to discover why they chose me. Why am I so special? I am normal, and I want to be respected in my field. I was tested by my doctor when I got home, and he found nothing, not a single part of information turned up in his tests, which there were many of them. If I could give you one piece of advice, it would be, don't let this happen to you. All the rest of the words I have said are based on my website. Thank you.
Okay. Did you get to touch the baby alien?
I wanted to touch the baby alien a lot, but as I said, my legs were stuck on like a python to the chair, so I couldn't if I wanted to. But I really wanted to touch it though.
And so why did the aliens let you fly their alien spaceship with the eggs doing it?
Yeah. What was the question?
Why did they let you? Were you their captive? Were you their friend? Like, I mean, what was the situation which they gave you that power, the power of their superior technology in your hands? Your
They sometimes they felt friendly sometimes,
right,
which is not always the case. There was an implicit trust there, and I think that is largely why they let me use the egg to fly the spaceship. I think they were testing me, but maybe it was they were concerned about human faculties and what our potential is, and they wanted to see how it could handle the egg.
So it was another one of their experiments?
I think so.
Yeah, I see. And you mentioned in your description of the awful and also fantastical thing that you experienced because you're special, you also mentioned the taste of the drinks, the alien drinks, and what I was so intrigued with, what about the smell? What does it smell like?
Well, the smell would make you puke into dry leaves. It's like dry diet drinks, but with like salty yogurt eggs with so much salt in you won't believe it.
I see. And
it sticks it up your nose and in your brain.
Right.
And will stay in your mind for at least a week.
Okay. But you're over it now. You know you've got.
No. Anytime I sniff anything that smells the same, I feel very awful.
So would you say it's an earthly smell, the extraterrestrial smell?
And
just finished this. And the other thing, I mean, it was a really magical moment. You know, you let us into your life, and you,
not willingly.
Well, no, in your speech you did. You know.
Oh yes, yes.
I mean, you didn't let them in willingly. No.
Yes.
Yeah, no. But you let us in that amazing speech, and you.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, okay.
But I know I did it on purpose, but I didn't know.
Was it? Oh, so because
no, I did. No, you're right.
I really felt, you know, that you were letting us in, you know, and really sharing not only the experience, but you as a person.
It's like showing you my computer.
Yeah, the computer of your mind.
But like by accident, but I asked you to be there.
Yeah, just like that. And when you.
It was like looking at my history on my Firefox.
Yeah, but you hadn't deleted it, obviously.
No.
No. You left it all there. The porn.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
And so when you let us in that magical moment in your talking, you spoke of Lindsay, and I mean, it's beautiful that you ever find that person once in your life, but also
she's my boulder.
Yeah. But also, you know, heart-wrenching that, you know, all good things come to an end.
She stuck a wrench in my heart.
And, you know, you mentioned briefly, because obviously that wasn't the topic of conversation, but you mentioned briefly, you know, it's when you lost your job at the swimming pool, and I want to know more. I want to know you as a person, and I want to know really what went on. Like, what do you think the experience affected your relationship, and that?
Well, I think it's affected about a quarter of my life. Basically, management thought my behavior at the swimming pool was not appropriate. I would disagree, and I wrote them a 22-page letter explaining so. But that's not the point. Okay, I did not block up the filter, but I had a sore head, so I was chewing gum because I needed to get rid of this feeling. So I was chewing gum, and it was chewing gum, and I spat it into the pool. But I only did that because no one was looking, I thought. But then it turned out someone was looking, and it was the queen of the swimming pool. So I got fired, and I hold my hands up. That is, I did do that.
Yeah.
But Lindsay made me do it. She drove that wrench in my heart, and it made me go nuts, basically.
I see.
I was buying 10 packs of chewing gum a day.
Wow. No, that is an addiction.
Yeah, not even the cheap stuff.
And so the last question, I think.
Yes, final one.
Final, you know, let's wrap it up. You've had a long 10 weeks. How is your research going? How have you found the research at Arcadia Missa?
Well, the Wi-Fi was a problem. That has hindered my research here today somewhat. But it's not going much better at home because my computer got stolen by robbers, and I now have an old iMac, you know, the one that looks like the iRobot in that Will Davis film. And so that is the only computer I have. Photoshop doesn't work. PowerPoint does work, but very slow. Hotmail, I can read emails, but I cannot send them. So this has hindered my research in this field somewhat. I think I could get a new computer, and then maybe I could learn more in the research. But I have forgotten how to use PC, so I'm not sure how I'll do that.
Okay. A quick aside, how does Photoshop help your research?
I cut out pictures of cats, and then I print them off, and that helps focus the mind.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for coming and doing a 10-week research project.
Thank you.
Can I have a hug?
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Talk about this, your experience with the aliens we just heard.
Yeah. It was weird because I felt calm, but I was scared at the same time. And it was, the weirdest thing was the way that there was like a small baby alien in the room, but I didn't know if he was bad or good, but he was definitely shiny. Like I said, he was shiny, almost like a hologram or an ashtray, but it could have been a hologramic ashtray. But I mean, I can't even remember how quiet it was, but I know it was pretty quiet, at least. And I mean, people, they don't always seem to believe what I said when I wrote it on an email when I got back.
Why is that? What do you think? Why is that?
I think people always are a lot skeptical, and some people say that people are skeptical are actually they're the gullible ones. And I mean, I believe that, if not all the time, most of the time that I'm awake. So,
if you would meet yourself, would you believe yourself?
Yeah. Because, well, one, I'm an honest guy, and two, these things are happening all over Wales and Denmark. So, if it's happening there, I mean, why would you not believe someone?
Exactly. Do you think many people don't tell the truth these days?
Yeah, I'd say about 99% of people don't tell the truth. And then the 1%, those other people, they're probably lying as well, but they tell weird lies that end up being true. So I'd actually lump them in with the other 110%, which are also lying, even though they are lying not all of the time, but pretty much 2/3 of the conversation.
All right. Do you have many friends, though?
No, Lindsay was my only friend, but Lindsay's gone now, so I'd say pretty much no friends. But that's okay.